Hello, this is Indigenous Talks, and I'm with my tribal chairman of the Tunica-Biloxi of Louisiana, Marshall Pierite.
Good afternoon.
So we're just going to jump right into it. Question 1. What does the Tunica-Biloxi Tribe of Louisiana mean to you, and what does our tribe motto, cherishing our past, building for our future, represent to you?
The Tunica-Biloxi tribe, what does it mean to me is a family first and foremost. It is a sovereign nation, and it's a people that has struggles throughout their lifetimes coming together as one, fighting the good fight of faith, cherishing our past, building for our future, cherishing our past. What does that mean to me? It means honoring our people that came before us. It means also to embracing their traditions, their cultures, their ways of life, never forgetting about who they were.
Since being elected as the chairman of the Tunica-Biloxi Tribe of Louisiana, how have your views changed on how a sovereign government should be run?
My views change, first and foremost, understanding what sovereignty means. And most importantly, sovereignty is an idea, a thought, or a principle that allow us to exert empower our people as well as empowering our nation. It also means my views is about embracing our culture, the traditions, the life ways that our people has cherished over the years.
Question 3. What are the most prevalent problems opposing Indian country today in your eyes?
I would say the Congress as well as the Supreme Court. The Congress, because they enact legislation that adversely impact our tribal sovereignty or our tribal nations. And as well as tribal court, I truly believe we are one ruling away from being viewed as a race-based organization versus a political-based organization. So therefore, the greatest threat is from Congress and from the courts.
As we progress into the future, what do you envision for our tribe's people and Indian country as a whole?
What my vision is making sure we empower our people, making sure we do not leave anyone behind, and as well as creating opportunities for this great nation, opportunities that will empower our generations to come, also creating foundations for our youth, also making sure we taking care of our elders, our wisdom keepers, those that came before us. That is those that we have to embrace the most.
To many that might not know, American Indians are one of the most exploited groups to historical discrimination that stems back from 1492 until thereafter. And to this day, I would still say we're going through a modern-day genocide. Why should people continue to hope? Why many of us continue to suffer, whether it's due to health, due to climate change, or due to lack of resources through our tribe's territory?
Well, I always say in my Sunday school class, our children lose hope because they don't see our faith in action. And our faith should always exercise our courage, our confidence in ourselves and who we are as one people. I do think it's time for Indian country to rise up and come together. United we stand, divided we fall. And through unity, we can position ourselves as solutions to America's problems. Climate change, you mentioned. I do think that our young talented tribal youth should be leading the fight as far as climate change, because no one knows Mother Earth like we do.
I can't agree with that more. This topic is going to get a little bit more into your personal life. Growing up as an Afro-Indigenous man in America, how did you perceive America, and how do you believe America perceived you?
Well, how America perceived me, I was viewed as Native American. I was bullied. I was called names, Geronimo, Cochise, Sitting Bull, and always me, my siblings was always picked on. But one of the things that changed my life drastically and for the good was at the age of 10 years old, my father, who had once served as vice chairman of the tribe, and also was banned from the tribe for 32 years because he married my mother, and my mother was African American. So he took me here on the reservation, and as we toured the reservation, we came to one of the cemeteries, and he asked me, "What do I see?" And I told him, great, I see burial plots. I just a cemetery. I didn't know what he was speaking of. And he said, "No, son, look deeper." And I said, "Okay, Dad, I only see a cemetery." And he said, "No, deep inside that cemetery is dreams that never come to fruition, relationships that was never formed, books that was never written, because lying down is people was never given the opportunity to thrive, because everything was taken from them, even their identity." So son, I want to speak a prophecy over you. And that prophecy is, I never had a chance to lead this tribe, but I see you, as young as you are, will be not only a leader of this tribe, but a leader of all Indian country. And one of the things I advise you is to create opportunities, bring Indian country together. And once you leave Indian country, don't leave nobody behind. Come back for each and every one. And I hold true to that prophecy today, and I will do everything that's in my power to make sure that we lead Indian country in a way that is that all our ancestors that walk before us will be proud.
Beautiful answer, Chairman. How did your military service help prepare you for the present obstacles that you face today?
Oh, great question, Luke. First three things that would come to my mind is courage, confidence, and discipline. One of the things I remember, my commanding officer, Colonel Harold Stackpole, who reminded me that life's greatest greatness is not about achieving things. It's about surrounding yourself with great people. And also, after we did we actually went in for field duty, and he came back and was telling us about the mission that we just served. And that was really left something with me, because it said, in today's environment, as young Marines, we teach you, your mission is to protect each other. Your mission is to never leave anybody behind. And this is peacetime. And in wartime, your mission was to make sure everybody wins. So I took that and applied it to my leadership skills. The mission of the Marine Corps during wartime was help everyone win. And I think the mission as a leader of Tunica-Biloxi, leader of Indian country, is making sure everyone else wins at your cost. And I do think that's what leadership is about. That is one of the things I learned that's most valuable in the Marine Corps. Have a heart to serve.
If there is one thing the average American can take from our culture and apply it to America to help it unite once again, what would it be?
Any country comes together when tragedy strikes. If we can come together in the good times, if we can stand up for one another, cheer each other on, help each other through life. One of the things my father instilled in me or told me at an early age, don't allow your family to pick your pallbearers. You select your pallbearers because you don't need to have nobody carry you when you're dead. You need someone to carry you when you are alive. And I think that is one of the most empowering things, because you can't get through life by yourself. You need others to help you with.
How have tribal relations with the U.S. government progressed since you've been in the office?
That's another great question, and I can tell you it's not about what I have done, it's about what the leaders have done over the last 40 years under the great vision of Chairman Barbary, the tribal councils that served before us. We had great leaders in the tribe that had the knowledge and the wisdom to know that relationships is one of the greatest currency you can have. That was Chairman Barbary. He instilled into me when I first served in the council that building those bridges, that on the local level, state level, and federal level, that is what's going to help us achieve one thing. And that was one of the greatest amount of, it was very inspirational when he shared that with me, and I'm extremely proud that he took me underneath his wing and introduced me to a lot of the people, congressional delegates, stakeholders throughout the land that we now can call our friends, and we can reach out to them at a moment's notice and make sure that the needs of the tribes and the citizens are met.
Spirituality and the American Indian is something that intertwines in all of us. So how does spirituality plays a big role in many American Indian lives, and how has spirituality helped guide you through troubling times in your life?
Oh, wow, another great question. I'm a minister of the gospel. I walk by faith, not by sight. Everything I do is through prayer, meditation, and trusting in God.
Beautiful answer again. What is your favorite American Indian story, and possibly your favorite American Indian hero?
When I was going over these questions, I went to about Wounded Knee, talked about Geronimo, but I looked at it. I looked at one of the people. I say one of my favorite heroes is Chairman R.J. Barbary, and the reason why is because not only he took me underneath his wing, he was a chairman that loved his people, he loved his nation, he loved Indian country. And numerous times, a lot of people don't know this, but Chairman Barbary took it upon himself to finance trips in the early years of his leadership, and never asked anything for anything in return. And he truly gave his heart and his soul to this nation.
Talking about those trips, could you mention the story about how our tribes took was it a Model T way too far when we became a sovereign nation, all the way up to DC?
Are you speaking of one of the trips of our some of the tribal leaders back in the 30s?
I believe so. When we became a sovereign nation, yeah.
Yes, 4 of our tribal leaders took it upon themselves because they wasn't getting any communication from Washington, D.C., and they seen the suffering of our people. They seen that something has to be done, and it took them a 3-month trip in old Model T to go to Washington, D.C., to educate them about who we are, to let them know about the struggles that we was facing, the hardships of our elders, and so it was really that trip that allowed the stakeholders of that time to put us on the map and really start connecting the dots of who the Tunica-Biloxi people were.
Can you elaborate on more on the struggles that we face?
Yes, sir. Not only in the country, but Tunica-Biloxi, back in the early 1900s, our people was denied opportunity for education. There was denied opportunity to make a living, provide a living for their families. They wasn't able to work anywhere. And that's why a lot of the people during that time, the turn of the century, decided to move to Texas, decided to move to Illinois to create opportunity to make a living for their families.
Yeah, I would just like to say something too. It wasn't until 1924 where all of American Indians could vote nationwide, and that was something that's still not even 100 years ago.
Yeah, and I fully agree. And the things that is more concerning is they was able to vote, but they was denied access to vote. And still today, we are still fighting that battle where we are getting denied access to vote, which is a basic right of any human.
Tribal elders play a vital role in passing down generational wisdom to the youth of the tribe. What are the most important lessons that tribal elders taught you that you still carry on today?
Well, again, I got to go back to my father, who instilled his wisdom in my life. Other tribal elders, Chairman Barbary, and today elders, the Elders Council, who's our wisdom keepers. The way they assist the tribal council in ensuring that we preserve our culture, our language, our life ways. You know, that is things being connected to your culture. That is, to me, our saving grace. Because if you look at most natives, especially our children, why they are confused because of identity crisis. Making sure they understand their culture, the traditions, it really allowed them to know who they are, know the struggles that their parents or grandparents had to overcome to pave a way to get them to where they are today.
Yeah, I would just like to talk about it a little bit more. One of the main reasons they took away our culture was they wanted to kill our whole way of life. That's when they established these Indian schools. They made sure that we didn't speak Indian. They made sure that we didn't speak our native languages. They made sure they cut our hair so we couldn't connect spiritually to our ancestors. So I just want that.
Yeah, and that's why we've seen it important enough to create the revitalization of our language program 8 years ago, and I applaud the council of that era, and I also applaud the Mobilone's board of directors, and also Mr. John Barbary, because he's one that I must say he's very committed and dedicated to the preservation of our language, to our culture and our traditions. And again, I want to thank the Mobilone's board of directors for approving the funding to make sure we have the wherewithal to roll out the language and culture program.
Do you have any words of wisdom for the 7th generation of American Indians?
Yes, be humble, be confident in yourself, stay true to who you are. And I always tell young people, be grateful. Seeds of discouragement can be planted in a heart, but it cannot take root in a grateful heart. And I'm also say, stay positive. My father once told me, he said, a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You will get nowhere unless you fix it.
Good advice. If there was one book that you can give to every young Indian child, what book would it be?
Well, one, our Tunica-Biloxi book, Fighting Eagles. The next one would be Congresswoman Sharice Davis' book, Sharice Big Voice, because it is a guiding light to every Indian child. And it shows with the struggles of her family, the struggles of overcoming many obstacles that her and her family has shared, and being one of the first Native American women to serve as as a congresswoman. You know, that is so pleasing to our heart.
You want to show the book?
Yes. Sharice Big Voice, and it's an autographed book by her. And I'm gonna read what she written. Chairman Pierite, you have been so amazing and helpful on my journey to finding my big voice. Thank you. I appreciate all you do to make sure our children and grandchildren will be seen and heard. And you know, when she's sent me this book, one of the things me and her talked about is, and this is one of the things I truly believe that Tunica-Biloxi really have to invest into our young people, creating pathways for them. And one of the things I hopefully and prayerfully think we are going to roll out is this summer as an internship for our young people to help us advocate on behalf of Tunica-Biloxi Tribe, on behalf of Indian country, as well as internships in our health department, in our language and culture department, in our law enforcement, in our tribal court, and every other department in our administration. You know, one of the things you mentioned, one of the first questions was about the vision of Tunica-Biloxi. The vision of Tunica-Biloxi have to incorporate our young people, because it's young will have to help us shape and mold the future, because y'all will have to live in it.
I will also link the book to the bio as well in the YouTube, so just click on it if you want to get a read on it. It's a great book. Since COVID-19 has impacted American Indians more than any other group in America, how has life changed for you and the tribe throughout the pandemic?
Life has changed drastically. We don't get to be like we always did before, gather for powwows, our sacred gatherings where families come together, share, break bread together, and also it allows us to really create a new pathway to lead. We had to tap into our innovation, upgrade our technology. It created a burden on our membership, on our tribal government, in particular, our tribal elders, who we was extremely concerned about their health as well as their safety. But you know, one of the things my faith teach me, where there is a burden, there's also a blessing. And one of the things, the blessing that rolled out in the pandemic came in the forms of the CARES Act. And I shared that with you last night. Unfortunately, when the first draft bill went to the Senate, they had $0 earmarked for Indian country. And that was very disheartening and very discouraging. And I remember a call with some of my colleagues from around Indian country. This is unacceptable. We have to meet the needs of our nation as well as our people. So Tunica-Biloxi took the lead in really reaching out to our U.S. senators, our congressional delegates, and let them know how unacceptable that was. This conversation has taken place on a Saturday morning, and by Tuesday morning, we had a commitment that $10 billion has been was put into the legislation, and so I applaud the efforts of this tribal council, our tribal people, because again, every blessings that we have, it was truly a miracle. And as I tell my colleagues in Indian country, sometimes we don't see the miracles because of our problems, but it's because of the problems that really pave a way for a miracle.
Yeah, 100%. As a successful self-made businessman, is there any advice you have to offer to young entrepreneurs?
Oh, well, yes, and yes. Again, being humble and surrounding yourself with great people and believe in yourself. And when God put a vision in your heart, don't let no one talk you out of it. Don't let no one take it away from you. And because a vision is pure, a vision is powerful. And one of the things is I tell people, a vision don't keep you up at night. A vision is what wakes you up at night. And so when the Spirit come to you and unveil the vision to you, put your faith in action. And also, again, believe in yourself and let it walk it out to fruition.
Who were or are the most influential people in your life and why?
I must say again, my father, Chairman Barbary, again, the wisdom they imparted to me. Both of them at different stages in my life played a huge role in my life by being there for me and also teaching me the things I did not know. And one of the things, staying open to learning new ways. And one of the things Chairman Barbary mentioned to me when I first started here is, don't think you know everything. And I never forget. And I asked him, what made him so successful? And he said, because I realized lots of times if I was the smartest person in the room, I was in a room that was too small. And that stuck with me lots of times. And he also mentioned to me one time that learning is not a period of your life. Learning should be a way of your life.
Always be a student, yeah. Which current American Indian leaders that you admire for their efforts within our community?
In our community, I'm a brother that live out. One, the vice chairman of Tunica-Biloxi Tribe. As vice chairman, he's my right hand. He serves as general manager of Paragon Casino Resort. Often kid with everybody that he should be the chairman of Tunica-Biloxi Tribe because he's very well-rounded in knowledge and wisdom and his experience. And another person is a dear friend of mine, the Secretary of Interior, Deb Holland. I've been knowing Deb for a relatively long time. I've followed her work in the private sector, and she always been committed and dedicated to Indian country. And she never let any obstacles keep her from what she believed in. And you know, I applaud her for being so humble, even maintaining the being nominated and having the highest Native American office in the land as Secretary of Interior.
Yeah, she's a forerunner for sure.
Yes.
What is your proudest moment?
What is my proudest moment? That is a great question, and I have a lot of proud moments in my life. My daughter's birth, but I would say the most proudest moment in my life. My mother, she was always embarrassed because she couldn't read and write. And at the age of 8 years old, I taught her how to read and write.
It's beautiful. For the final question, what do you hope to leave for your legacy?
What I hope to leave for my legacy? Well, one of the things is a legacy is not what you leave for people, it's what you leave in people. And what I want to be known for when I'm gone is my kindness, my generosity, my mild-mannered approach to solving things, and also my ability to unite people.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate this talk.